Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of House Talk. We're at Ace Hardware in Palos Heights, 127th and Ridgeland, and exactly 6465 West 127th. And Dan Harris is the owner. Dan, welcome back to the episode of House Talk, and we're going to kind of turn it over to you because there's a whole lot of products at this time of the year that people should be interested in coming in and talk to you about or purchasing or whatever. And I'm going to let you take it from there.
Sounds good, Ron. Well, welcome back again. Pleasure to be here with you. I think kind of discussing a little bit beforehand, I think the best thing to start off with is winter products. As we get into the ice season and the snow season, we get a lot of questions about what's the best product to use for ice melt. There's a lot of choices. There's plenty of different ways you can go about it, and what's the safest for my concrete. So I'll start off talking about that. I know we're in the Christmas season, so we'll maybe follow through with a little Christmas product, show you some of the things we've got for our Wrap It in Red campaign for the Christmas season.
Great, and this is going to be running through Christmas, so if anyone is interested in buying some gifts, Christmas gifts, listen to what Dan's going to be talking about because there's going to be some real nice things. Dan, I'm going to let you take it from here.
Okay, so when you talk about ice melt products, there's several different categories. The most basic everybody thinks of is salt or rock salt. Rock salt is one of those products that is the old standby, but probably the most harmful product you can use in terms of your landscape and also the runoff, and it tends to stop working at a higher temperature. And that's really the difference between the better products. They work to a deeper temperature. What you're trying to avoid with ice melt products is that frosting or that freezing and the thawing process. That freezing and thawing process is what ruins concrete, causes asphalt to buckle, that water gets in there, freezes, and then pushes that back up again. So some of the products will work at a deeper temperature or to a lower temperature, so you don't tend to get that freezing and thawing cycle. This product here, the Ace brand of ice melt, is a product that is not rock salt. It is a potassium chloride. Potassium chloride, well, basically it stops working at about 15 degrees below zero, so there's a pretty good chance you're not going to have any of that freezing and thawing cycle. The potassium chloride is less harmful, and the runoff, when it runs off into your grass or into any vegetation you have along your driveway. So that's really usually our first recommendation is that. If you get temperatures below that point, that's where you start to maybe run into a little bit of some of the other products that are out there. There's magnesium chloride, calcium chloride. Calcium is the next one usually recommended. That product will work till about 20, 25 degrees below zero. Again, it's one of those things that's going to just keep things from freezing and thawing. Once it's in the surface, it'll keep it from freezing and thawing and icing back up again. The one disadvantage to it is calcium chloride tends to absorb water real quickly. So you really want to keep that once you've used it, put it back into a bucket, keep it sealed up so that it doesn't absorb the moisture out of the air. And then the last product is magnesium chloride, which really pretty much should work for just about any temperatures we have around here. And that product is in this green bag here. It's probably the best product we sell. Unfortunately, because of that, it's the most expensive. So usually I would say only if we get some really extreme temperatures would you want to be using that type of a product. As we kind of move on, we kind of look at some of the snow shovels, and that it's always, everybody says always a snow shovel is a snow shovel. Well, I think there's a few things that have changed on it. They've tried to make them lighter weight. They're durable plastic, even though plastic and cold weather typically don't go together. Most of this stuff is pretty well tested. So that it is durable. We rarely ever get one back unless people are using it as a chopper to chop ice. They really handle the snow well. So you've got a lot of different choices, and some of them have a little bit of an arched handle, so if you have some back issues, you're not lifting as much. That really is one of the big things, the big considerations for a lot of people is that curved handle that helps you to be able to lift the snow a little bit easier without having to lean over and walk back in for a couple hours later and have a backache. So that's some of the things you want to take a look at. The other thing I always tell people, be prepared in the winter time as we start to come into that, is with ice and snow brushes for your car. Make sure you've got some ice snow brushes in the car, which are always helpful to have. Sometimes we tend to sell them, for whatever reason, we tend to sell them on the day it's snowing out. So take a look in your back seat, or if you haven't used it since last spring, make sure you still have it available. Put it back in the car, put it in the trunk. The other thing, car-wise, two things that always seem to come up are the windshield solvents. And again, windshield solvents, it's kind of, you get what you pay for. Some of those products will work to deeper temperatures so that they don't freeze up when you spray them on your windshield. You don't get ice all across the windshield, thereby blocking you, and it becomes a safety issue.
Okay. You want to move on to another area?
Yeah, maybe what we can do is take a walk over to the snow blowers. We'll talk about snow blowers.
Okay. Okay, we're talking about snow blowers now, and that's pretty interesting because I have a snow blower. I shut it off in the spring, and of course we have this little small snow, an inch or less slush, and I get it started and I use it, and then I remember in May or June, gee, I have gasoline in there, and I didn't put anything in the additive in the gasoline, and of course now I'm wondering, is it going to start? So what I do when I finally remember, I try to turn it over to the side and capture all the gasoline I can in a container, but most of all I turn it on and let it run all of the fuel out of the carburetor.
You're doing exactly, Ron, what we recommend people do every single year. Unfortunately, about 98% of the calls at the service centers are all fuel related. If you leave the fuel in from last April, say, till October or November of this year, there's probably a pretty high probability that's not going to start. Fuel is a big thing. To address that issue, Toro and some of the other companies now are recommending a product. It's a product called True Fuel, and that product doesn't break down. So if you left it in there from April, say, till October, that product will still be stabilized, not only stabilized, but will allow that it won't gum up the carburation system.
Yeah.
Most of the new snow blowers today, pretty much everything you can buy, are all 4-cycle engines, meaning you're not mixing your gas and your oil anymore like you did years ago.
Right.
And that was due to EPA requirements that they had to meet certain emission standards.
Okay.
That's one of the changes that they made. So as a result of that, if you have gas left over, I always tell people, when you're done, we've kind of pretty much exhausted all the snow for the year, take whatever you have left, dump it in your car. You're gonna, you can get rid of it that way. Old gas is sometimes an issue for people, or they get concerned about it. Dump it in your car and get rid of it that way. Start off with a fresh tank of gas, run it till it's dry, just like you said, and you probably will never see a service center. If you don't do that, you're almost assured that you're going to go to the service center. Now, we also carry that fuel. It's available in quart-sized cans or gallon cans. It's called True Fuel, and that you can leave in there. That's the only product I would say ever you could leave in the unit when you're done using it at the end of the season. In fact, I have done it just to test, to make sure of it on my own snowblower, and every single season it fires up again. So definitely that's the only recommendation. Any gas from the gas station that you have, get rid of it, dump it in your car.
Yeah, I usually take it to a mechanic's garage and they dispose of it through their oil reclaiming system. And there's a truck that picks it up and takes it away and does whatever they do with it. But I notice of these snowblowers you have, the difference is size of the engine and the width of the path that the snowblower is. So I'll let you take it from there.
So you start off with the smaller size unit here. This one has an 18-inch path across the front of it. And it still has the technology of the flap for throwing the snow. But typically, smaller size usually will mean it won't throw it as far. I always tell people, if you have a smaller driveway, one car width driveway, or you're just doing some sidewalks, small areas, things like that, that's the perfect size snowblower for it. They come with, you can either pull start them, manually start them,
right,
or you can also use the electric start. They have a little...
They have electric start too?
Yes, yeah,
okay,
both ways, and it runs about $50 more for the electric versus the pull start. But really what you're gaining is the ability to take and put a plug in the back of it. You push a button, prime your button a couple times, turn your choke on, and then push the button. You're starting off, you're running within a few minutes. And then, say for instance, you shut it down at the end of the driveway, you always have the ability to pull start it. But if some of the people don't have a lot of upper body strength, that gives you the ability to start it without having to pull it. It makes it a lot easier to use.
Yes, it would be.
So 18-inch, your adjustments here are a couple different ways, from side to side.
Okay.
That's pretty much kind of your basic starting point in our lineup of snow blowers. So then we step into a series where it's a little bit more of a premium. It's a 21-inch width across the front of it.
Gotcha.
Again, a lot of the same technology. It's still a 4-cycle engine, so you're not mixing your gas and your oil. You still have the ability to use the pull start on it. You still have the ability to use an electric start on these units. So that's the same. What you kind of step up to in more of a premium level snowblower is the ability to adjust your throw and your shoot from
Okay, right from the handle.
right from the handle.
Okay.
May not sound like a big thing, but it actually is when you're doing your driveway. You get down to the bottom of the driveway, you want to turn around. It's not reaching over each time and having to change direction.
Putting your hand on the chute.
So all of the units have a bar across the top here. That bar does one thing. Basically, it allows you to engage the impeller. Until you actually pull back on that bar, the impeller, which is actually the thing throwing the snow, is not moving. So it's basically a safety device. It keeps you from actually engaging it or catching some things. Now, one of my customers told me the other day he caught his Christmas lights on that impeller on the bottom. So if you put Christmas lights out or you run cords, power cords, be careful where you did. Yeah, if we get a little snow, you'll find that cord real easily.
Yeah, right inside there.
And you'll be using a lot of cutters to get that out of there. So, and then these two units are the same. I was telling you a little bit earlier, this is basically a brand new device for us. We just got these in. It's called Ego, and Ego is an electric-driven snowblower. So basically, it uses lithium-ion battery packs. There's 2 of them that go into the unit.
I'm going to push it out so the
Sure.
camera can pick it up a little bit.
Yeah.
There, because it's a different color, and it's just designed much differently.
Designed a lot differently. The idea with these is basically you have no emissions issues. You have no starting issues with them. The lithium-ion battery technology has changed just like it has in a lot of the power tools that we sell. You have a lot more power picked up on these things, and years ago they didn't have that capacity. They're able to work in cold temperatures much easier. So you've kind of addressed some of the major issues with that. Because of that, there's two battery packs that go in here. It will run on just one, but you gain more torque or more capacity to throw the snow with both of them in place.
Can it be the batteries be charged right in the unit?
Yes, they can.
Okay, so if you pushed it in the garage and you're done, there is a cord that you plug into an outlet to just
Charge it back up. It has an indicator on the back side here to let you know what point it's charged at.
Okay.
So it has quite a bit of run time, and people always say, well, what's the run time? How long will it run? Well, a lot of it depends on snow conditions and what type of snow. A wet pack like we had just after Thanksgiving here, it probably will run an hour to an hour and a half on that charge on that pack without having to be recharged again. So that's kind of what you should gauge it at.
It depends on how much power it's going to take out of the battery.
Exactly.
And if there's a lot of slush and wet snow, of course, it's going to take more power out to work and get that out the chute and out of your way.
Yeah.
So I can understand that. The only thing you have to worry about is putting in your garage and plugging it in when you're finished with the snowplow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plug it in when you're done. When you go to use it again, just basically turn it on, engage your auger on it, and you're ready to go. I think one of the unique things, because it's electric, it's got 2 little headlamps on the front of it. And if you've been like me, where I usually end up doing my snow blowing at
night.
6 o'clock at night or 7 o'clock at night,
dark.
It lights up a pathway in front of you, which is a big thing.
Yeah.
They tell you that the capacity to throw snow is about 35 feet. I would say that's probably powder snow like they get in Colorado, not like the snow in Chicago. Yeah. So, but really unique, really good response to the marketplace. I really think that this is where we eventually are going to be going with a lot of this equipment. This company's really got some proven technology. They've been out in the market for a while now. They've done their research. I think it's a good machine.
Now, without going into price points, this probably is pretty much in the same price range as the gasoline engine type. Right?
It is. It would be in the same price range as what we're looking at in the gas engine units here. So you've really got, kind of the best of both worlds there.
Right.
And especially if you're a type of person that really doesn't want to have to worry about mechanical issues and you really want that thing to run when you need it, that's the way to go.
I suspect when this show hits the air, this unit is sold.
Yes, absolutely. It's the Tesla of
Whoa.
snow blowers.
This is this is great. This is really a great piece.
Yeah, so
Okay, well, where are we off to next?
we're going to go look at some Christmas stuff. We'll maybe get a little bit look at some of the presents that you might want to consider for Christmas time.
Okay. Okay, we're back with Dan, and Dan's going to be showing us some gifts that you might want to consider. There's time to still buy, and if there's some question about maybe a tool or two, come on in, talk to Dan or his staff, and he's got a lot of stuff here to share with you. And Dan, I'm going to let you take it from there.
So we were talking about, Ron, about with the snowblowers, with the battery pack on the units. And one of the things that we've really seen a growth in is the battery-powered tools, lithium-ion batteries. I just kind of point out one thing here. This is a set of a couple different items. It's a hammer drill, it's a regular drill, and it's a circular saw. But all three of these are all powered by lithium-ion batteries. So you got a lot of runtime on them. You have no cords to worry about. It's really kind of and Milwaukee Tools, I would say, are really a tradesman type of thing. So if you have a handy person in your house that likes to work with the tools and really wants to step it up to the next level, you definitely want to take a look at that as potentially a Christmas
And
gift.
what's nice about that is you could be remote from power anywhere out in the backyard or out in the front or wherever you're at. You don't have to worry about power as long as that battery's charged.
That's exactly it. And in some cases, if you're really using it a lot, you might want to just consider getting a backup, an extra set battery, and you always got power to use it. They're great tools. They're really strong tools. They're made for more than homeowner grade type of a tool. So you've got a lot
It's
of
a
potential.
level above.
Yeah, definitely. It comes with a flashlight as well. So if you're working out in an area where it's got a remote flashlight that runs on that same battery technology. So it's really a package. It's a nice package for somebody thinking about tools. Milwaukee makes some radios that again run on their battery pack type of thing. Some of the things that I think are really a little bit unique this year. This is a package of screwdrivers here, and one of the things that we have found over the years is people are coming in more and more with screws on various different things that are not typical
They're not
slotted.
Yeah, they're not the old standard slot screw.
It's as the world's changed and a lot of that stuff becomes imported from different parts of the world, there's all different types of screws out there. I believe that this one has just about every type of screw that's made to mankind. So we're covering a lot. It's very interchangeable. The set allows you to, if you're working on a little phone or a toy, a kid's toy at Christmas time, it's got the little interchangeable head on it so that you can change that out in a very unique way. So I think that that's one of the things that if you ask me what we hear the most of at this time of the year, especially that week after Christmas, is I've got this little toy that has this screw head on. I've never seen that before. It's in that packet there. So
fantastic.
Really worthwhile. If you've got some handyman that are looking for a handywoman that's looking for just a overall set of tools, some wire cutters and screwdrivers and things like that, we've got a set down there that really kind of addresses a lot of those type of things. And then obviously one of the things that I think is a little bit unique, we've got a whole group of gifted items over here that really make things a little bit easier to kind of help with stocking stuffers, as well as tools that might be handy for the person around the house. For the person that's doing a little bit of things with maybe little nail guns, small nail guns, the air compressors are on sale right now, the little pan ones, and really the nice part about those is they're lightweight. So when you're working out in the garage, you can do it. If you're working somewhere else, you want to pick it up, move it, it's easy to use. Used to be they were kind of big, clumsy.
They were. You had to have them on wheels and in a little cart if you wanted to move them around, be mobile with it. Otherwise, it was pretty much a fixed item sitting in the corner of your garage. And I have one of these that's under my bench. And I bend down, turn the thing on, set the pressure I want, and it's off and running, and I don't have to touch it. But you can. This is a very mobile piece of equipment.
Yeah, and the thing is that you can use it for little small jobs around the house, as well as if you need to fill the tires on the car. So you kind of got a lot of diversity. They're really good, solid little tools to have around the house, and they're really worthwhile. There's another unit here that's actually newer to us. This is a unit that runs on the same battery pack that DeWalt tools run on, and it's an inflator. for your car. You can also inflate in the summertime. We get a lot of people coming in with pool toys and things like that, or those beds, those air mattresses and things like that.
Right.
So it will inflate on both types of things, whether it's higher pressure or lower pressure type of things. It will run on 3 different forms of power. It'll run on the battery pack for the tool. It will run on your car if you plug it into the cigarette lighter. Or you can buy a separate attachment for it, which will allow it to run on 120 volt out of your household current. So you kind of have a whole variety of different ways to use that. It's really, I think it's a great tool if you've got somebody that's on the road a lot, where they might potentially, if they ever have a breakdown, you've got a way to at least get some air in the tires until you can get to the nearest service station. So, as well as, there's other things here that are, a brand new thing is a little digital air gauge, which is something that used to be, we'd have that little pin that would stick out of the gauge. These are all digital now, giving you a digital display. Kind of a nice little stocking stuffer for somebody.
Right.
We also have some of the newer technology in stud sensors. So these actually sense the studs, they sense electrical piping in the walls, plumbing piping in the wall. It's a way to really kind of give you a really step-up version so that you don't go drilling through the wall and finding you're drilling into a pipe
Conduit.
Conduit or find. You don't want to find that the wrong way.
Right. But it also tells you where you can find a joist, so that you could find a stud, in other words, and put your picture, mirror, whatever. So it helps you to not go into the wrong place or where to go to put your anchors in.
That sounds like a man of experience there.
Yep.
I think you've been there once.
There. More than once. But,
So.
and I have one of those, and they do work.
Yeah, they're really a great little tool. I mean, we've got a lot of other things. You've got some, a lot of things that typically you'll need to do any small little projects, whether it's a tape measure, and these are all higher quality tools. So I think one of the things that we at ACE are really kind of proud to say, we're focused on top quality brands, not just kind of putting price out there, but top quality brands as well. So if you're looking for Christmas presents, you're looking for that, certainly stop in our door and we can help you.
All right. Well, Dan, thank you for allowing us to come in here and have you share all the new goodies that are available at the ACE store. And we're going to look forward to maybe another show that will be talking about in the springtime, painting, washing walls, and
fertilizing
all the different things that you have. Yes. So we will see you again in a few months. Thank you for watching us. And Dan, thank you again for allowing us in here. Again, we're at Ace Hardware in Palos Heights at 127th and Ridgeland Avenue. Stay with us. We will have another show following this one in a few moments.